Are you waking up tired even after what should have been a full night of sleep? Do you notice your strength fading a little, your energy not quite there, your sexual confidence slipping quietly month by month without any clear explanation? I'm Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a board-certified urologist, and for more than 20 years I've sat across from men over 50 who feel betrayed by their own bodies but rarely say it out loud. Tonight, I want to show you the one overlooked nighttime vitamin that may be quietly draining your sleep, your energy, and your potency. Tell me where you're watching from, and if this resonates, like and subscribe. We're building a community for men who still want to feel strong. But here's what most people don't realize. Aging itself is rarely the real reason you wake up exhausted. I hear men say it all the time in my office. Doc, I guess this is just what getting older feels like. And I understand why you'd believe that. You go to bed at a reasonable hour. You sleep through the night, or at least you think you do, yet you wake up feeling like your battery never fully charged. The truth is, it's not that your body is failing during the day, it's that it's no longer recovering at night, and that distinction changes everything. When you're younger, nighttime is your body's most powerful repair window. While you sleep, testosterone is produced in pulses, muscles repair microscopic damage from the day, nerves reset their signaling, and sexual function pathways recalibrate quietly in the background. You don't feel any of this happening, but you feel the results the next morning: strength, clarity, desire, and energy. After 50, that repair window starts to shrink, not because you're weak or unhealthy, but because the systems that support recovery become less efficient. I often tell my patients this: men over 50 don't fail during the day. They fail to recover at night. You can push through meetings, workouts, responsibilities, and stress. You still show up, but the body keeps score. And if nighttime recovery doesn't fully happen, the debt accumulates. That's when you notice the slower mornings, the heavier limbs, the duller libido, and the sense that something is off even though you can't put your finger on it. One of the biggest changes I see clinically is the decline in deep sleep phases. You may still be in bed for 7 or 8 hours, but the deep restorative stages of sleep become shorter and more fragmented. That's the phase where growth hormone works, where testosterone signaling stabilizes, where nerves repair. Without enough of it, your body is essentially trying to rebuild itself with the lights half on and the tools missing. You're resting, but you're not restoring. At the same time, mineral absorption quietly declines after 50. This is something most men are never told. Your digestive system changes, stomach acid production drops, transport mechanisms become less efficient. So even if you're eating well or taking supplements, your body may not be absorbing what it needs at the exact time it needs it most. And nighttime is when that gap becomes most damaging, because repair processes are nutrient dependent. Then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. In an ideal world, cortisol drops at night so your nervous system can shift into repair mode. But in many men over 50, cortisol stays elevated into the evening and overnight. Sometimes it's from years of stress, sometimes it's from poor sleep architecture, sometimes it's from inflammation. Whatever the cause, elevated nighttime cortisol acts like a brake on recovery. It suppresses testosterone signaling, disrupts deep sleep, and keeps your nervous system on alert when it should be powering down. This is why so many men come to me frustrated and confused. You wake up tired, but your labs look normal. Your testosterone is technically within range. Your blood work doesn't raise red flags, and you're told it's stress or age, or that you should exercise more or worry less. That dismissal can feel demoralizing. It can make you question your own experience, but what you're feeling is real and it's common. I want you to hear this clearly. You're not broken. Your system is under-supported. The body you have now simply has different requirements than it did at 30 or 40. Nighttime recovery becomes more fragile and more dependent on the right signals and nutrients arriving at the right moment. When those supports are missing, testosterone can't rebuild efficiently. Energy doesn't replenish. Sexual function signaling weakens, not because you've failed, but because the repair process never fully completed. The actionable insight here is simple but powerful. Nighttime recovery is nutrient dependent. Willpower doesn't fix it. Toughing it out doesn't fix it. Without specific nighttime support, your body cannot rebuild testosterone and energy the way it once did. And once you understand that, the problem stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling solvable. And here's what most men don't realize. There's one vitamin your body desperately needs at night, yet almost no one takes it correctly. Let's talk about that next. But here's what most people don't realize. Men over 50 are not deficient because they're unhealthy or careless. In fact, many of the men I see eat reasonably well, take supplements, and try to do the right things. The real problem is that absorption changes with age, and timing starts to matter far more than most people ever tell you. One simple mistake, repeated night after night, can quietly sabotage your sleep, your hormones, and even your sexual vitality without you realizing it. The vitamin I want to talk about is magnesium. And I want to say this calmly, without hype. Because magnesium isn't trendy or exciting. It doesn't promise miracles. But in my clinical experience, it is one of the most overlooked nighttime nutrients for men over 50. Magnesium plays a central role in nervous system regulation, muscle relaxation, hormone signaling, and sleep depth. Yet most men who need it the most are either deficient without knowing it or taking it in a way that simply doesn't work. One reason this goes unnoticed is that blood tests often miss what we call functional deficiency. Your serum magnesium level can look normal on paper, while your cells are actually running low. Magnesium is primarily stored inside cells and in bone, not floating freely in the bloodstream. So by the time a blood test flags a problem, deficiency is often advanced. This is why I see men with normal labs who still struggle with shallow sleep, nighttime awakenings, and that wired but tired feeling in the morning. Another issue is timing. Many men take magnesium in the morning or with lunch, thinking consistency is all that matters. But daytime dosing often fails men over 50 because magnesium's most critical jobs happen at night. During the day, stress hormones, caffeine, and activity can blunt its calming effects. By bedtime, when your nervous system should be downshifting, there simply isn't enough magnesium available to support that transition. The result is sleep that looks fine on the surface but lacks depth and restoration. When magnesium is functionally low at night, the symptoms show up in quiet, frustrating ways. Sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. You may fall asleep easily, but wake up feeling unrefreshed. Nighttime urination becomes more common, not just because of the bladder, but because the nervous system never fully settles. Morning energy is flat, even after what should have been enough rest. Libido softens, not dramatically, but subtly, as testosterone signaling loses its nighttime rhythm. I know some men are skeptical at this point. They've heard about supplements before, they've tried things that didn't work, and I respect that skepticism. All I can tell you is this. If this were nonsense, I wouldn't discuss it with patients. I wouldn't see the same patterns repeat year after year. Magnesium isn't a cure-all, but it is a foundational signal. When it's missing at the wrong time, the body struggles to shift into repair mode. The emotional piece here matters too. Many men blame themselves. They assume they're just not sleeping well anymore, or that low energy is inevitable. What I want you to understand is that your body is responding logically to missing inputs. Magnesium helps quiet the nervous system, relax muscles, and allow testosterone signaling to occur without interference. Without it, cortisol stays elevated, sleep stays shallow, and recovery stalls. The actionable insight is simple but critical. Timing matters more than dosage. Taking the right amount at the wrong time is often less effective than taking a moderate amount when your body actually needs it. Nighttime intake aligns with nervous system downshifting, supports testosterone signaling during sleep, and allows muscles to fully relax. That alignment is what turns rest into real recovery. But here's where most men get it wrong, and it explains why supplements don't work for them. Now here's the mistake most men make, and it's an easy one to fall into. When supplements don't work, men assume supplements are useless. They think, I tried that already, and they move on. But the real issue isn't that supplements don't work. It's that most supplements are designed for 30-year-old digestion and metabolism, not for the body you're living in now. And your body, after 50, plays by different rules. As we age, stomach acid naturally declines. This isn't something you feel directly, but it changes everything. Lower stomach acid means minerals don't break down and absorb the way they once did. Magnesium, zinc, and other key nutrients can pass right through without ever being fully utilized. On top of that, mineral transport mechanisms become less efficient. Even when nutrients make it into the bloodstream, getting them into the cells where they actually do their work becomes harder. And the liver, which processes many supplements, also changes with age, altering how long substances stay active in your system and when they exert their effects. This is why strategies that worked at 35 quietly stop working at 55. Yet most men are never told to adjust. Instead, they keep taking supplements the same way they always have, wondering why nothing changes. One of the most common mistakes I see is taking vitamins with dinner. Dinner is often the largest meal of the day, which seems logical, but heavy meals slow absorption, compete with nutrients, and can shift supplements into the wrong metabolic window. Instead of supporting recovery, they end up adding to digestive workload right when the body should be preparing to rest. Another common mistake is relying on stimulant-based blends. Many men's health supplements are packed with ingredients meant to boost energy or alertness. Taken earlier in life, that stimulation might feel helpful. Taken later in the day after 50, it quietly raises cortisol. Even if you fall asleep, your nervous system stays partially activated. Melatonin, the hormone that governs deep sleep, gets suppressed. And when melatonin drops, testosterone signaling during sleep suffers. Sleep becomes lighter and recovery becomes incomplete. Then there's overdosing so-called energy nutrients at night. More is not better when it comes to nighttime support. High doses of stimulating B vitamins or aggressive herbal blends can confuse the nervous system. Instead of shifting into repair mode, the body stays on edge. Blood flow prioritization changes. Erectile blood flow, which depends on relaxed vessels and parasympathetic dominance, can actually worsen under these conditions. Men don't connect the dots because the effect is subtle and delayed. I want to be very clear about something here. This isn't your fault. You weren't given bad information because you did something wrong. You were given incomplete information because most guidance isn't updated for aging physiology. Your body isn't resisting help. It's responding exactly as it's designed to respond under the circumstances. The emotional toll of this matters. When men try things that don't work, they start to disengage. They stop trusting solutions. They stop believing improvement is possible. And that's a shame because the fix often isn't adding more. It's using less, more intelligently. The actionable insight here is this: less stimulation, more regulation. Nighttime nutrients must calm the nervous system, not excite it. They must support hormonal signaling, not interfere with it. And they must enhance sleep architecture, especially deep sleep, rather than simply knocking you out. When those conditions are met, the body can finally shift from survival mode into repair mode. Once you understand that, supplement failure starts to make sense. It wasn't that nothing worked. It's that the timing, the form, and the intent were mismatched with what your body actually needed at night. And once men fix this one timing mistake, something unexpected happens, not just better sleep, but better mornings. But here's what most people don't expect. When nighttime recovery is restored, the changes don't arrive with fireworks. They arrive quietly. This isn't about chasing youth or trying to turn back the clock. It's about restoring what your body already knows how to do when the right conditions are finally in place. And for many men, those changes begin within weeks, often so subtly that they almost miss them at first. One of the first things men notice is deeper sleep, not just longer sleep, but heavier, more settled sleep, the kind where you don't toss and turn as much, where your mind stops racing, where the night feels continuous instead of broken into fragments. You wake up and realize something is different, even if you can't immediately explain what it is. Your body feels less tense. Your breathing feels slower. That's not coincidence. That's the nervous system finally shifting into a true recovery state. Another common change is fewer nighttime bathroom trips. Many men assume this is purely a prostate issue, but the nervous system plays a larger role than most realize. When the body stays in a low-level stress response at night, bladder signaling becomes overactive. As parasympathetic tone improves and the body relaxes more fully, that signaling calms down. You sleep longer, stretches without interruption, which further deepens recovery. Morning alertness is another quiet but powerful shift. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed, you begin to feel more awake shortly after rising, not wired or jittery, just present. Your thoughts feel clearer, your movements feel easier. This is what happens when sleep architecture improves and hormonal rhythms begin to stabilize. Testosterone, which is primarily regulated during sleep, starts to follow a more natural pattern again. Energy stops feeling borrowed and starts feeling earned. Many men also report a stronger sexual response. Not necessarily dramatic, but more reliable. Desire feels more consistent. Response feels more natural. This is deeply tied to nervous system balance and blood flow. When inflammation decreases and parasympathetic dominance improves, the body is better able to support sexual function without forcing it. Confidence returns quietly, which often matters more than raw performance. There are clear physiological reasons behind these changes. Improved parasympathetic tone allows the body to prioritize repair over vigilance. Testosterone rhythms stabilize when sleep is deep and uninterrupted. Inflammation, which disrupts everything from energy to libido, gradually decreases when the body is allowed to rest properly night after night. None of this is instant, and that's important to understand. I always emphasize realism with my patients. There are no overnight miracles. Anyone promising that is selling you something. What works is consistency, supporting your body the same way every night and allowing it to do what it's designed to do. Progress often shows up as a series of small wins that add up over time. Better sleep leads to better mornings. Better mornings lead to more consistent energy. And consistent energy changes how you feel about yourself. The emotional piece here matters just as much. These improvements restore a sense of masculine dignity. You're not forcing your body, you're cooperating with it. You're not chasing youth, you're reclaiming function. That shift in mindset alone can be empowering. The actionable insight is simple but foundational. Nighttime repair precedes daytime performance. You can't outwork poor recovery. Willpower doesn't replace sleep. Supplements don't override biology. When sleep becomes deep and restorative again, the rest of your health begins to fall back into place. Now, if you're thinking, have I waited too long? This next part is for you. But here's what I want you to hear most clearly, and I say this as a physician who has worked with men for decades. It is not too late, not even close. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s reclaim energy they were convinced was gone forever. Not because they found a miracle, but because they finally gave their bodies what they needed instead of fighting against them. The male body remains responsive far longer than most people believe, especially when it's approached with understanding rather than frustration. One of the hardest things for men to let go of is the idea that more effort will fix everything. More pushing, more discipline, more punishment. That mindset may have worked earlier in life, But recovery after 50 begins with respect, not force. Your body isn't failing you, it's asking for support. And when you respond to that request, it often responds back more quickly than you expect. I've watched this transformation happen quietly in exam rooms. Men who came in discouraged, tired, and skeptical start reporting small changes. They sleep a little deeper, they wake up a little clearer. Their confidence returns in subtle ways, and then one day they realize they feel like themselves again, not younger, not invincible, but grounded and capable. That's an important distinction. Strength doesn't disappear with age. It goes dormant when the conditions for recovery aren't there. This isn't about denying reality or pretending time doesn't pass. It's about understanding that your physiology is adaptable. Hormones still respond, nerves still regenerate, muscles still recover, sleep still heals. The system just needs the right signals at the right time. When those signals are restored, the body does what it has always done. It repairs. There's dignity in taking responsibility for your health without blaming yourself for what you didn't know. There's confidence in making informed, calm adjustments instead of chasing extremes. And there's strength in choosing consistency over desperation. These are not small things. They shape how you feel in your body and how you move through the world. I don't believe in fear-mongering. I don't believe in telling men they're broken or running out of time. I believe in honesty and hope, grounded in physiology. If I didn't believe improvement was possible, I wouldn't be doing this work, and I wouldn't be speaking to you now. And that's why this channel exists, to give men honest guidance, not hype, and to remind you that your health still matters. But here's where we bring this full circle. If you found this valuable, I invite you to join our community and subscribe, so you never miss guidance designed specifically for men over 50 who want real energy, real sleep, and real confidence. This channel isn't about trends or quick fixes. It's about understanding your body and working with it in a way that respects where you are now. That nighttime vitamin we discussed isn't magic, and it was never meant to be. It works because it supports how the male body actually functions after 50, quietly, steadily, and naturally. It helps create the conditions your body needs to recover while you sleep, so you're not borrowing energy from tomorrow just to get through today. When the foundation is right, improvement doesn't feel forced. It feels normal. I want you to remember this. You deserve deep, restorative sleep. You deserve energy when you wake up, not hours later. And you deserve to feel confident in your body again without shame or self-doubt creeping in. These are not unreasonable expectations. They are reasonable outcomes when recovery is supported properly. If you've been carrying this quietly, feeling like you're the only one dealing with it, you're not. There are thousands of men walking the same path, asking the same questions, and looking for honest answers. That's what this community is about. Men supporting men with clarity and respect. Take care of your health because you are worth it, and I'll see you in the next video.